will celebrate as early as October 29th, and actually up until the end of November. I thought it was November 3rd, and then I've been learning no, some places even towards the end. I explained a little bit about the symbolism and the tradition and history for the altar, and also the Catrina. And the Catrina is the face painting with the skull. So we learned a little bit of where those traditions come from. And if you wanted to build your own altar, you can go back to yesterday's video to learn how to do that. So mostly we've been inviting you all to remember that really, whether it's Halloween, All Saints Day, Dia de Muertos, or other traditions, oh, I never get that right, the Celtic, is that some way? The old, okay. There are any other tradition that celebrates around this time, the most meaningful thing to remember, whatever your beliefs are, is that this is one of the times, if not the best time of the year, to connect with loved ones or anyone who's crossed over to the other side.
So what I heard for the first time, multiple times being here in Oaxaca, is that it's most significant November 1st and November 2nd. I'd always just heard November 1st for Dia de los Muertos. But what I've heard here is the first is, some say the Children's Day, great to connect with them. And then the second is connecting with the elders, or vice versa. Like Curandera was saying, most pueblos are different. So 2 days ago, Halloween, I gave a shout out to Robert and his birthday. Yesterday, my brother. Yesterday, unfortunately, there's a travel plan and I was in transit. So I didn't on November 1st get to say happy birthday to my mother. Carol Jean Olson was born on November 1st and later Lodge with marriage. And so when I was sharing 2 days ago how important big Halloween was for her, it was literally our biggest holiday of the year. And she died November 8th, 2019. So 2 years ago. So today, in this auspicious day when the veils are thinner, Karunadar and I are going to go to a ceremony to connect with elders, with Inés. Inés, I said it correctly, right? Inés, a curandera who we did a video about healing in Oaxaca. I had an amazing session with her right before I went into the dark room, 2 days before going to Mazunte. So in just a few hours, we're going to be with her and a few other people, and most likely have a lot to report tomorrow.
And just to clarify, Inés is a different curandera. So obviously we are in the land of curanderas. And yes, in the future we will talk. We were having a conversation about the ways in which curanderas express here, and that they don't call themselves curanderas. So that's a topic to come. So stay tuned for that. But I just wanted to clarify that is not the same curandera that I went on retreat with. That was a whole different set of people, even though there was also an Inés in that group. And I'll share with you a collar that she made for me. But yeah, taking into account that this is a beautiful time to connect, we wanted to have you contemplate on who might you want to get in touch with at this time. And sometimes, even in business meetings, if you're in the corporate world, you get asked if you could meet anyone in history, who would it be, right? I mean, we've asked ourselves that question and each other. So it's a fun thing to think about. So whether it's a loved one, like Carol for you, or anyone else, this is a good time to think about it. And if you feel called to actually make some kind of effort. So again, with the altars, maybe we call them ofrendas, offerings. Maybe if it's a poet, do you want to leave a book and a pen on your version of an altar or on a desk? I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go 100% into any of the traditions that we share with you all. We get really excited about them, and we especially love those that are very connected to ancestral roots. But you can do it your way. And that's the exciting part. And I'll share just a tiny blip of my spontaneous connection last night. So, some of you have heard that I have these really wild, intense, beautiful dreams that started at the age of 15. And you can go on our website and read my bio. It tells you a tiny bit more about the first one. But last night I had one of those dreams where I can sense energy, usually of the spirit realm. Oftentimes I can tell you if it's male or female, or I can maybe even describe the spirit. So yesterday, I think because we're in the spirit of Dia de Muertos, that I was thinking and praying for the journey. I talked about that yesterday as well. The journey from the moment you die into these, whether you call it the bardos or the 9 stages in the Mexica world, and there are other traditions that believe in the same thing. I was praying for loved ones, right, and for them to find their way back to the altars. My family's been sending me photos of all their altars. It's really beautiful in the U.S. and throughout Mexico. And so I had connection with them. They appeared, I would say 5 to 7 of them. I know one of them, I had an auntie pass away this year, a few months ago, really. Was it July?
June.
Yeah, June. Henny. So her beautiful soul showed up for a second. My maternal grandmother and my maternal grandfather. I never met him, but I've always felt that he was one of my guardian angels. And he has shown up in other dreams when my grandmother used to get sick. They obviously both passed away, but she passed away more recently. So there's definitely a strong connection with him, even before I really was consciously into spiritual work. And then I had who else did I have in the? Oh, my great grandmother, the one that's from Oaxaca. So I was just really grateful to her and saying, thank you for leading me here to this wonderful mystical land. My friend Gregory Bors, who, although he was not family, we were definitely connected by spirit and soul. And he died of a brain tumor, also more than 7 years ago, because it was before you and I met. So, and they were there. I can tell you. I know that some of you will ask about the details. How do I know? What do I feel? And it's a little bit hard to describe, but I know, and I stand strong in my faith, that they arrived, and it was in stillness and in silence. There was no message other than, we hear you and we are with you. Thank you for celebrating us. So hopefully you get your own version of that experience.
The openness and willingness to talk is plenty, and intuition to sense. Great start. And that's the classically feminine ability. On the masculine side, I want to mention too what we talked about last week, the midif, the motivation, setting that, why talk to the ancestors, and then the intention, right? Really, in this great day, really intend to. And D, the discipline, actually set aside time and go for it. Integrity of really committing to that communication. And lastly, that focus. So if you feel called to set some time aside and connect, communicate, today's a fantastic day for that. And I'll give you a report tomorrow from the ceremony.
Yes. Feliz días. We should say días, right?
Yeah.
Days
Días.
of the dead, and continue to contemplate on your relationship with death and the dying process.
Much love, everyone.
Hasta luego. Love you.